Darn it. Hey, welcome everybody. Hey, welcome everybody to my review of the AK5C. Pros and cons of it. What I like and don't like about it. Now, first off, I feel like I have to mention, I am going to be comparing this to the M4. It's the weapon I am most comfortable with. I've logged in way too many hours on this game with the M4. Therefore, I feel comfortable in saying that I can assess it accurately. Trying to kill the player over there. So, let's get started on my thoughts and opinions on the AK5C. The AK5C is kind of a weird one for me. Like, when I first picked it up, very first time I picked this thing up, I thought to myself, man, this is a huge weapon. Like, it feels big in my arms. Virtually. Obviously not real, but virtually it feels big in my arms. And I like that. Problem is that somehow or another that seems to translate in-game as well. And that really throws me. Okay, player got out of there already. The AK5C, again, I am comparing to the M4, is not a bad weapon. As with all weapons in this game, they all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses. Strengths of this thing is that it is kind of a dream to fire at medium to long range. Up close, though, it's a bit of a joke. Also, its first 3 or 4 bullets, kind of wild. Oh, they're all over the place. Never know exactly where it's going to end up. As you can see from there. Right, now I gotta go check and see if he had purple. As with the M4, I very much recommend setting it to single shot for the long range fires, but it is smooth enough that you can very easily keep this on fully automatic and with a little bit of practice control it at long range, similar to the AK Alpha. Unfortunately, at close range, again, it has trouble. And everybody's being so sneaky right now. Eh. The AK5C's initial shots kind of go all over the place, as I've said earlier, but quickly smooth out into a nice, easy-to-control fire rate. Which is, again, why I like setting it to single shot for the longer ranges. Close range is where this thing is weak. Now, the AK5C actually does this exact same damage as the SCAR that I've discussed earlier. And for those of you that are not familiar with my findings in that video, pretty much determined that I do not like or recommend the SCAR because it has such a low damage output and low rate of fire. Meaning that it is one of the slowest time to kill weapons in game. Excuse me, in the assault rifle platform. The trade-off with this, though, is that its fire rate is significantly higher than that of the SCAR. Not high enough that it puts it on the M4 status by any means. It's still a very low rate of fire comparatively. But it is better. Not great, but better. One of the things I would say that the AK5C definitely has is intimidation factor. Everybody's kind of afraid of this thing. To use it, or to be shot at it. Shot at by. Why is that? Well, it's simple. This thing kind of chews. I say, dang it. I'm not saying that metaphorically or anything like that. This thing kind of chews through people. Because it is so easily controlled, your first couple of bullets, if aimed at center mass, are going to go right in the chest, which is pretty close to enough to knock down just about anybody in game. Pretty close. Oh, airdrop. The next couple of bullets are going to go right into someone's head. That's nice. Being able to aim center mass on a target and know that your bullets are going to hit their face is a huge bonus. Because while the initial bullets are going to be left and right, the third and fourth, and everything after that, it's going to be pretty much straight up. And if you can control that recoil, then you're golden. Additionally, on top of that, one of the perks about the AK5C is that I mentioned earlier that the recoil is is relatively light. The AK5C looks like it will handle just about anything. I mean, it looks like a big, huge rifle. Thing is that it's actually mostly polymer. Underneath this polymer is still a metal. I think aluminum skin underneath this polymer. So you're not seeing the weapon as it is, or as it originally was manufactured. I'll show a picture of what it originally looked like. That being said, even though it's kind of deceiving in its looks, being the exact same size as the M4, recoil is so much easier to control. Probably because it's just right at that right sweet spot of between fast and too fast. Up player. I gotta deal with him. There's fast and there's too fast. And the M4 is too fast to control easily at range. And the AK5C is just about right. two of them. Like I said, nice and easy to control. Sneaky, sneaky. That's basically why I like running. I do like running the AK5C. And it looks like I'm not the only one. There. Frickin' Fennec. Ugh. Again, I really do like running the AK5C. Its downsides are glaring. Up close, within, like, 10 meters or so, a lot of other weapons have the advantage, damage-wise. And the initial headshots are a bit of a pain to land. Up close. Oh, look at that. Wait. But if you can get past all that, which is pretty easy to do, honestly. Wait. Do I have anything? I don't really have much in here. Just another AK5C. Ooh. Wait. Dang. What am I going to do now? I guess the ASFL is going bye-bye. Once you can get past those initial issues and practice enough with it, it's a pretty good little rifle. It really is. It's not bad. The downsides of having lower DPS and than the M4 and other weapons, they can be ignored if you can make sure that you end up having your fights in the right position, which obviously I've been trying to do. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've tried to avoid the up-close and personal fights. I don't know, maybe it's because this weapon is so much taller than the M4, but I don't know. The hits just don't come on this thing. Even so, this thing shreds. I do like it. I enjoy playing with it. It is a very good gun to use, especially, I will say this, especially with a 60-round drum and against fully kitted squads. Team of 3, they don't have any chance against this thing when used effectively. Damn. What do you people say? Again, I'm aiming right at my target. I don't know if it's because I cannot get the grip to be in the same spot every time or what, but that initial shot always evades me. Cannot understand why. Everything follow-up works great. That initial shot just does not make me happy. One of the other downsides, though, and kind of a big one when I'm comparing it strictly with the M4, is the initial purchase cost. AK5C, even though it has a lower rate of fire than the M4, is actually significantly more expensive than the M4. Almost twice as much. Almost. In addition to that, being that it is, even though it's not a bigger weapon, it seems so much bigger. It makes it that much more difficult to utilize inside. Well, okay. Inside of buildings and such really get squirrely with this weapon. As stated earlier, they're the same size as the M4. Once you're used to the M4, you should be fine. Weirdly now, I don't get it. I want to like the AK5C. It is a pretty good weapon. It's pretty well rounded out. Pretty low recoil. In fact, it's one of the only weapons, only AR weapons, I should say, assault rifle platform weapons, that I can run around with one hand, and while I can't be firing it full automatic at somebody at 50 meters away or something like that, at someone that's point blank, it's controllable enough that you can light them up and win. That is not a claim that I can make with the M4, and I don't think I could make that with the AK Alpha. Not that I've ever tried it, but I've had several instances where I've been surprised while playing with the AK5C. Someone's popped up out of nowhere, and while I'm in the middle of eating or something like that, their left hand is occupied with energy drinks or something like that. And in past experiences with the M4, I'll squeeze the trigger and I'll see the first two bullets hit the chest, and then it'll fly so far above their heads as to be completely usable. And usually by that point, I'm dead. AK5C, though, it's nice and easy to control. I can't do that with the M4. Really can't. Oh my gosh, you're everywhere! Ugh, yay, yay. Anyways, that's it. It's a pretty decent gun. It really is. Do I recommend it for everybody? I do. I do recommend it. Just remember what I've said. It's a pretty good gun. It has its strengths, it has its weaknesses, its strengths being medium to long range and very low recoil, and more damage than the Scar. Weaknesses? Well, it's not as deadly up close as it should be. Right foot.